Perfect. Okay. So DSML, which system did you have installed currently? Is it the Mister system, and then as well is there a Steam unit that's installed?
Wait, 1 second. Let me.
Uh, yeah, Andrea, I think let's mute your computer.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, did we get any feedback now?
Good on my
Uh,
end.
That's good. Okay, so no, I can't hear you anymore. DSML. We love technology. We cannot hear you. So I'll need you to call in again, DSML. It was the feedback was actually coming from Andrea's phone. Okay. All right. Can you hear us? Oh, you are muted. You'll need to mute your computer and unmute your phone. Now unmute your phone.
Now?
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
I don't know where the feedback's coming from, but let's just move forward. We'll be okay. Okay, so DSML, what systems of ours do you have installed there? Do you have the steam generators installed, or is it just the misting system?
No, I have the steam, the Baham, and the sauna.
So you said, so steam and hammam is the same thing? Do you mean?
No, I have a steam, I have a Baham, and a sauna.
The
When you say
sauna is a different subcontractor that was installed by Florida Hot Tub, so that's not connected to what we're doing here. We have the hammam.
For the steam unit, which is your room with the heated area with the moisture in the air. And I'm gonna mute here. Can't unmute you though. So for the steam area, do you guys have just the white control panel on the wall?
Yeah, it's the Baham. Yes, we have 3 of them.
You have 3 of them.
Actually, one is not working today.
Okay.
The one for the middle one is not working today. It's the heat supposed to be an 80 and 85 or something. It's an 80 something degrees.
Okay. Is there any blinking on the control panel currently?
No, it's just that it's not getting hotter. I think they send a signal, but the heat is not working.
Okay. We can, so on my email has got all my contact information. Feel free to give that to anybody on your guys' team. You can call me anytime. That is my cell phone number, and I can always FaceTime and walk through any troubleshooting.
Can I have your cell phone right now?
Sure. My company one is 551
551.
268
Okay.
7213.
Okay.
And then I'm always available to FaceTime with whoever's on site in front of the unit, and I can usually troubleshoot it right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pull up a picture of what the white control pad you guys have looks like, and I'll run through the controls and how to use it basically. Okay, can we see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is the control panel that you guys would see. Depending on what accessories you purchase with it, all of these lights would not be lit up. Normally, with your situation, if you don't have any lights that are being controlled by our control panel, all you're going to see are the right buttons here, like the right half. You'll know if you ever have an issue that these two buttons here, the circle with the arrow around it. I'm gonna mute this. If you need to ask a question, Dios Mel, just unmute yourself.
Okay.
Okay. That should get rid of the feedback. So where's there we go. Okay, so if there's ever an issue like an error code, the error code will let you know that something's wrong with the unit. It'll be blinking, and it'll be these two right buttons here, the clock and that circle with the arrow around it. If you ever see those two buttons blinking, give me a call immediately. I'll tell you what's going on. It'll throw a code to the panel to let you know that there's a specific error, and the errors that it will show will be a combination of these two, or these the three buttons on this side right here. A combination of those will light up, which will tell us, oh, you know what, if it's these two buttons that are lit up, the control panel is not in dialogue with other elements, and then we can start to go through the run, or we can run through the troubleshooting on it. But that's a really quick way to know, oh, you know what, there's a problem with my system because it's blinking. It shouldn't blink with those two lights that I pointed out. And then the first question that I'm going to ask you if we're not FaceTiming is which of these three lines are lit up, and that's going to tell me what the troubleshooting or what the code is and where we'll start the troubleshooting process. Now the buttons on the unit itself, the ones that you'll use to start it up, this is the on off button. So when this button is in the off position, you won't see anything on the white control panel. It'll just be blank, and it'll be that little light that's lit up right there. So to start it, you just press that on button. Then these icons right here will light up, and then you press the steam to turn it on. Press the steam icon, and then you can choose your temperature. So the temperature, it goes up to 118 degrees in the area itself. The middle level would be 114 degrees, or it's 114 to 112 degrees, and then the lowest one would be like 108 degrees is the estimate about where it stands. This is not like a sauna that is no humidity but very high heat. This is more 100% humidity with low heat, and that's what the therapy from the sauna is. If you have these other buttons here, this button would just be for the white light. If you have a white light in your unit that's hooked up to our control panel, the RGB is for, it stands for red, green, blue. That's your chromotherapy. If you have chromotherapy, you would press that button to activate it, and then this button to change the color of the chromotherapy. And the last one would be the mood lighting. So if you used our mood lighting, you'd press that button. It's just a soft white light, or it could be strips depending on your guys' setup or what you did. But the ones that you definitely will have are going to be this left half of the control panel. So I mentioned that when you get these two blinking lights come up, that's an error code, give me a call. The other one that you want to be aware of is this little wrench icon right here. That means that it needs service. So our unit is quite different from the other steam generators out in the industry, because before, during, and even after every use of the steam generator, it goes through a self-descaling process or a self-cleaning process where, while the elements are still hot, the tank, the boiler tank, will drain itself. And then we have a mister on the inside of our unit that it'll mist cold water onto the hot elements, which instantly descales the elements, meaning that you can go, thousands of hours without having to do a maintenance on it, because it will keep the elements clean and descaled. Now, there is scheduled maintenance that goes on, and this is going to depend on a few factors. One, it's going to depend on how many hours you're running it a day. Two, it's going to depend on how hard your water is. And then three would just be if there's any extra buildup or bulk that gets onto the heating elements themselves, and then the system will read it and say, hey, you know, you need to service this unit. I'll send you over who actually will be servicing the units. Was that going to be done by Cast? Is that going to be done by Natiivo? Who's doing the service on this?
GFO, Gale, people that work, that now works, not CAD.
Okay. So I actually have videos on how to manually descale the unit. We're getting that feedback again. Not working. So if you can mute your phone, that'll stop the feedback. So I can send over videos on how to descale it by hand. There's also another way that you can descale, which is you could buy a little small recirc pump and hook up the recirc pump using a solution to do the complete descaling. That's the second way. A third option would be if you're going to be doing it yourself, and let's say you don't want the machine to be down for the hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it's going to take you to manually descale it, depending on the process that you use, is we can have you guys buy a separate boiler tank with elements in it. And that way, when it comes time to descale, when you get that icon, you literally would just shut off the system, you'd unscrew the boiler on the inside, remove it, screw on the fresh boiler, and that gives you can at your own leisure, you can then descale that tank that is full of all the sediment and everything. With that many generators that you guys have on site, if you do have the 3 different steam areas, I'd recommend getting at least one empty tank with elements. That way it just makes the swap out process really easy. We can talk about that off-site, and I can even do a quote for you to just show you what the pricing would be on that. And then the last option for doing your maintenance is Perfect Wellness Group. We actually have a maintenance program. It costs, it's about, for the steam generators, it's $2,100 for the year. That would include 2 visits a year for our team to go out and descale the units for you so that you guys don't have to worry about that. Again, that would be $2,100 per area. So if you have 3 areas, you're looking at $6,300 per year for us to just take over basically the responsibility of the unit. So you can think about that. I will make sure that I send you over those videos. Next, I would say during the startup process of when you first start the generator, I would give yourself about 20 minutes before the generator will actually create steam. You're going to know that the generator is creating steam because there will be a light that will come on at the steam head, which we would call our steam diffusers. I probably have some better pictures here that I can show you. So on the diffusers themselves, they're the little squares that are on the wall. Most steam head diffusers for other companies are just little round steam diffusers that just push out the steam, and it's pressurized steam. Ours are these little rectangles, which you would see the little triangle piece right here on the wall. When ours put out steam, it's that big because, one, it's got a light on there so that you know that when the generator is calling for steam, the light shines. That also lets the users on the inside of the steam area know that steam is coming to, move away from it. But also, this box contains a recirculation fan. So the recirculation fan will make sure that you have just as much steam at the bottom or while you're sitting on the bench as if you're standing up. The whole room is going to be filled equally with steam. Our steam also is a little unique because every other company that does steam that I'm aware of has pressurized steam, which means they have the pressurized release valve. They're boiling a tank of water. It's filling with a ton of pressure, and then all at once it releases into the room, making that big sound of the release of the pressure. So that's not the way that we do it. It could be dangerous if you're sitting there and your hands under there and the big shot of steam comes out, it can burn you. There's interruptions in your creation of steam with those type of generators because after it releases all that pressure, then it has to shut all the valves, it has to refill itself, it has to reboil itself to create that pressure again, and then release it again to get that steam. So with our system, we actually have automatic fillers and probe levels inside the tank that it will refill the tank with water as steam is being created. Because it's not pressurized, you're never going to have that big burst of steam come out, but you'll just have constant, consistent steam coming out through the life of it, and it's completely quiet. The only sound that you'll hear is probably the recirculation fan that's inside that steam head, and that thing's like 5 decibels, so it's very, very quiet. On the side of your little steam diffusers on the wall, and I'll zoom in, this little tab right here, there's one on each side. You can actually put oils into there. You can fill it with whatever type of oil that you want or whatever mixture of oil. It doesn't matter how much, or you can only put as much as the container will hold, the little tray will hold, but you can put any type of oil in there if you want to change. Maybe you want eucalyptus one time, but you want the scent of like lavender the next. You just take out the tray, rinse it out, put your lavender oil and put it back in. And as the steam comes out, it will actually infuse the oil into the steam room there. Our unit, as I had mentioned, it will descale itself through the process. So there may be a 20 or 30-minute period where you're not getting steam and it cools the room down. A lot of people will, they're like, hey, you know what, the steam generators, it's not working. What's going on? What you can do when that happens, this steam icon right here will pulsate with a white light. It'll go bright and then it'll go dim, and then it'll go bright and then dim very slowly. That means that it's going through the cleaning process. If you have clients that are in the steam room and they're like, hey, you know, it's cooling down, there's no steam here, and then you notice that light's pulsating, all you would do is hold your finger on that button for about 3 to 5 seconds. That cancels the self-cleaning or descaling process, and then it goes back into standard steam generation. Anytime that you unplug any of the components, so if you guys are working on the control panel for any reason, if you are going to do a maintenance and you have to unplug the steam generator, after the maintenance is done, or any changes that are made to the generator has a brain in it and it knows what is connected to it. But anytime there's a new connection or a connection's undone, you need to run what's called a manual startup. And the manual startup, it happens, or the startup sequence, I should say, happens automatically once the generator is installed. But anytime you change one of those components, you need to do a manual startup sequence. I'll send over this documentation as well so that you have it, but just be aware that every time you do the cleaning, you're going to want to run a manual startup sequence. It's you basically replace these 3 buttons. You hit that one, then hold that one. The whole light screen will blink, and then once you're there, you just hold down the steam button, and it'll automatically go through its startup process. Once you do that, when you're done, you hit the power button, and then you're ready to use your steam again. The system is very easy. Like I said, if you ever have any issues, give me a call immediately. I can walk you through the troubleshooting steps. If you FaceTime, I can see exactly what's going on, and I can usually handle it within like 10 minutes over the phone. We can clear any error. If there's something that needs extra support, like let's say one of the heating elements in the steam generator breaks, we'll get that blinking icon. These 2 icons will blink. It'll throw the code. It'll say, you know, element problem. I'll ask you, you know, you guys have a multimeter that you can check some elements. You can put the multimeter prongs on the 2 spots and check if they're okay. At that point, if it's broken, all right, here's your quote for your new element. I'll send that over. We keep all that stuff, all those extra parts. I keep in New Jersey. So if you get me early enough in the day, I can usually have it shipped out that same day, and you'd receive it the next day if you want to pay for overnight. From New Jersey to Florida, you're looking at 3 days usually for normal ground. So depending on how expedited you need it, we can discuss that. We went over the diffusers. Here's a picture of the diffuser trays being taken out. So if you wanted to refill the oil, your temperature control, we went over the lights. Again, these 3 icons here will only show up if you have those accessories attached to the unit. If you have the RGB button attached, if you ordered the chromotherapy, it does go in a sequence. So you press the RGB button to turn it on. And then every time you press this change button, it's going to start with red. It'll change. Then you press it again, it'll go yellow, press it again, green, blue, aquamarine. And if you press it again, it'll go into a program. The dawn program is meant to simulate dawn, so sunsetting. The sunset program is for the sun coming up. So it's like a lot of yellows and oranges. The dawn is a lot of greens, blues, purples, more for nighttime to relax. This is more for to wake you up. And then sea and forest are just different color schemes that'll go through automatically through the scenario. Again, that's only going to be if that RGB button is lit up on your panel. We do have different functions depending on what type of functionality you want to give the user. If your control panel is located inside the steam room, we can actually set it so they only have functions to like turn the steam on or off, or you can have functions to just allow them to control the lights, and we can customize that to your guys' need. The ECC, that's our app. On all of our steam generators, you do have app functionality. What the app functionality will allow you to do is turn on and off the steam generator itself. You can set the temperature of the steam generator from there, and then you can control any lights that are attached to it. If you do not have the app set up and you'd like to do that, again, I can hop on a FaceTime with you and set it up. The main stipulation with using the app is that you do need to have a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi line that's going to be dedicated for the devices. So if you have a combined 2.4 and a 5G on your line, that's very popular. During the setup process, you would need to disable the 5G while we go through it. So the app can be used by anybody that downloads the app. That'd be your team, your front desk team, back of house team. I'm sorry, did you have a question? Okay, I'll keep going. So the app function, anybody that downloads the app can have functionality to it. The stipulation there is you have to have the app is one, and then two, you need to have your phone that you're controlling the app from needs to be logged on to the Wi-Fi signal that the app is on or that the Steam unit is on. So if you have that 2.4 dedicated Wi-Fi for the Steam or for the app, you would need to log on to that Wi-Fi to be able to control the app, because we would basically pair our machine to your Wi-Fi and it would be just paired to that 2.4 gigahertz line. That can sometimes trip people up, which is why I go over that. We talked about self-cleaning, the maintenance. This is again, this wrench icon would come up when you need maintenance. When it does start to flash, you will have functionality of the unit for it could be anywhere from 400 to 700 hours before it completely shuts itself down. And that shutting itself down it's a safety precaution for the generator. If it feels that it has a lot of hard water or lime scale that's stuck on the elements itself, it will throw that wrench, and then after a while it's going to say, you know what, this needs to be cleaned off now, I'm going to shut down, I'm going to take a break. At that point, there is a way to override it. Of course, we don't recommend that. We do recommend you do your maintenances properly. Once you see that wrench icon, start the process of planning for your maintenance. But once you execute the maintenance, again, my documentation will show you how to clear that wrench. If you clear the wrench and you don't do the maintenance, you let it just keep going, it can damage the unit, which is why we recommend, do your maintenance when it says, and don't override the wrench if you're not going to do your maintenance. Shooting priorities, went over that. That is basically it for the steam, for the hammam. Do you have any questions based around that? Anything you want me to elaborate on? You'll have to unmute your phone, DSML. Nope, can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
There we go.
Okay, I'm gonna show you one of the controller for the hammam. They have the arrow. That's the one that is not go over the 81 degrees.
Let me make this.
You see it? You see it?
Could you
Can I call
potentially,
you
Can you
FaceTime
take
when
the-
we finish?
when we FaceTime?
Yes. When
Yeah, we can
we
go
finish.
over.
Okay.
Yeah, we finish. We can FaceTime, no problem. Any other questions on the steam generator?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you guys have also the
This-
misters. Yes, ma'am.
So I don't recall getting the O&M and the manufacturer warranty forms for this equipment. I keep asking for it and I've not received it. So that same manual that you just went through, I need to get that, and I also need to have the manufacturer warranties.
Okay. Were you asking Andrea for it, or is there somebody
Well,
specific? So I'll talk to them to see.
Andrea
Yeah.
Battistini.
Yeah.
I have asked him, but he has not sent it. That's why I'm
Okay.
saying it now that I haven't
Okay.
gotten that.
All right. I'll talk to him. I'll see what the problem is.
Yeah, and also the subcontractor warranty. I didn't get that either for the work. Yeah, so
Subcontractor
if you
warranty.
could just talk to him and ask him to please forward those. We do need those.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the office. I know that he's walking around too, so I'll when we get off here, I'll approach him about that.
Okay.
The Mister system that you guys have, incredibly simplistic. It literally is just a button that you press and it goes through its scenario. So whatever the pre-programmed scenario is, it's going to fully go through it, and then it stops. And if you want to do it again, you press the button again. The maintenance on it is, we do recommend that you have some type of filtration system, usually a soft water system for the water that comes in. It is not required. The cool thing about this brand, I've represented like 35 different plumbing brands, so this is kind of my world, which is why I think this is cool. All of those components are completely, you can take them apart. They're made to be taken apart. Inside the first layer of the stainless, when you remove that, there's a little rubber, for lack of a better term, it's a filter / gasket that's in there. Throw that in the dishwasher, just rinse it with vinegar and water once, probably every 6 months for you guys, and you're going to be fine. But the solenoids and all the control pieces that are inside the MEP closet, there's no maintenance whatsoever needed on any of that stuff. The only thing that's going to have wear and tear is going to be that little filter that's going through, and that's going to depend on how often you use it and how hard your water is. I don't think you guys have very hard water down in Florida. I mean, I live in Southern California and our water is just the worst in the country. It's so hard. So your maintenance, it may be years before you have to do any maintenance on that. The warranty that Aquaform gives, which is the brand that provided that faucetry, it's a 2-year warranty, which in a commercial location, that's unheard of for me for anything that water goes through it as well. And they are very user friendly. They want to make our clients happy. I've got some other Italian brands that don't act the same way, but they're very easy to work with. I will be your contact for all that stuff. So any of the Perfect Wellness Group product that has any type of issue, again, I'm always available. You can call me on the weekends. You can call me at night. I'm located on the West Coast, as I said, so you have an extra 3 hours on top of your normal work day to get a hold of me. And I'm pretty responsive. If I don't pick up, I'll shoot you a text right back. Say, hey, give me 20 minutes, give me 30 minutes, whatever. And a lot of time I can even troubleshoot it through via text if you just give me a picture or a video of what's going on. Did you guys install our saunas? Are those FE saunas provided by Perfect Wellness Group? Andrew's saying no. Okay. All right.
No,
So
the sauna is Florida hot tub.
okay. Okay. So that's the training. I mean, if there's any questions, I can field them for you. I'll get that stuff for you, Andrea. I'll talk to Andrea once we get off the phone.
I want to go with the phone is 551-268 7213.
Correct.
I'll call you on FaceTime right now. I'm gonna show you about the control.
Sounds good. And then on my, the email thread that we had going, I will take the link for the recording and I'll shoot it to you guys right now. That link will be good for usually like 2 or 3 weeks. It'll stay good for us. So if you want to download that, I'd recommend you download the video because that link will eventually go in it. But, okay. Thank you so much, guys. Dios Mel, I'll talk to you when you call me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.